Cold Case, an Angelica Dale Mystery by P.K. Armstrong, Chapter 16. The rain had stopped, and the sun was making a half-hearted attempt to burst through the heavy clouds. Once again, I sat in my car, the engine running and the heat on full blast for the moment. Snow was moving in according to the latest forecast. In my field of vision lay the site where the Aspen Club previously stood. That, coupled with the dreary day, fit my somber mood. The site was now an industrial park, but from the maps I was provided by the museum manager and the police and fire reports, I could clearly picture in my mind's eye where the building had previously stood. I had absolutely no business sense, but I wondered if the reason Derek's club was struggling was location. There was a reason it was a business park now. It was remote, plenty of space for parking and large industrial-sized complexes. During the Aspen Club days, it would have been a very remote location for a nightclub. There were nice roads in and out of the area and the complex, but a glance at the historical maps showed the streets were still under construction at the time of the club opening. Roadblocks, cones, and barrels were probably a deterrent to customers as well, even though most of the work would have been done during the day. I poured my tea from my thermos. I sipped delicately because it was still quite hot, and I closed my eyes. I pictured the Aspen Club on the southwest corner of the lot, its burned frame creating a spooky outline. Deep in thought, I missed the man approaching my car and was startled by a tap on my window. "Angelica Dale?" he said loudly to be heard through my closed window. I always hesitated when an unknown person approached me, especially since he so clearly had the advantage. The man asking for my attention was young, mid to late 20s, thin, with a well-groomed beard and mustache. He was dressed warmly in jeans, hiking boots, a turtleneck sweater, and a puff coat. "You are the private investigator Angelica Dale." I rolled down my window. "Yes, how can I help you?" "My name is Delaney Stevens. I'm working on a podcast about the fire at the Aspen Club. I heard from the museum manager you were officially reopening the case and wanted to interview you." "I think you may have misunderstood. As a private investigator, I cannot reopen a case the police have closed." "Well, no, of course not, but you are looking into the fire, are you not?" I paused to contemplate my response. I was in expectation of this moment, but not this soon. I got out of my car to show I was not avoiding his questions. I decided to not burn bridges. "I'm not adverse to an interview, it's just I don't have any answers yet. I think any interviews would be premature at this stage." I stressed the word interviews. I wanted him to think he had competition. Now it was Delaney's turn to ponder his next steps. He got the implication. "This is a topic that was a hot button in this area. I think mainstream media had its hooks in early, and frankly, it is exactly why Stormie Gyles got away with murder. At least consider speaking with me first. I have a following." I noticed he didn't say large following. "What's your angle?" He was eager and a little pushy, but most news people were. That's how they got their stories. "Angle?" I asked. "Yeah, do you have new information? Do you think she got away with mass murder?" His excitement was building. "Do you?" I asked back at him. "Well, the title of my podcast is They Got Away with It," he replied a bit sarcastically. I changed the subject. "I have to admit that I'm not sure how you work. Do you get tips and then start looking into cases?" "Yes, or I see a story that interests me." "So you received a tip that Stormie Gyles was guilty?" He shrugged. "Maybe. I tried interviewing her, but she won't speak to me," he added. I wasn't going to confirm that I had already accomplished that task. "I imagine not. Did you see the stories from the press at that time?" "Yeah." He looked down, seemingly embarrassed by the press's behavior towards Stormie. "But if she is innocent, She should want to clear her name. He paused. Or is that what you are trying to do? That would be difficult after all these years. I'll tell you what, I said in compromise. I will call you when I have something to tell. I hope I'm your first call. I'm not like mainstream media, he said, slightly affronted. No, no, I don't imagine you are. Words had power. Finding the truth is a well-used reason given by reporters, but in this day and age, politics and business can slant the truth of even the most well-meaning reporter. The podcaster was often a different kettle of fish. Some, in their dogged pursuit of truth, have blown criminal cases wide open, fueling public outrage and pushing authorities to do what should have been done to get justice in the first place. But from what I had learned, podcasting can be competitive, which makes taking the sensational road a quicker path to followers. After Delaney Stevens walked away, my attention returned to the site and the reported construction at the time of the fire. Last night I had done a quick look at Derek's bank records. I wasn't a financial analyst, but it didn't take one to see a negative balance. As I continued to look at the fire reports, I thought, for the first time, that maybe this wasn't about Stormie's anger with Derek, but maybe it was about Derek abandoning the sinking ship that was the Aspen Club. He was in trouble. He had borrowed heavily, and some of the sources were questionable. He was also moving money back and forth from his personal accounts to his business accounts and back again. Was this another line of investigation I could take? I didn't feel the need to be especially cautious, considering my investigation's anonymity had dissolved in the face of my conversation with Delaney Stevens. However, when it came to math and banking, I would definitely need some help. I reached in my bag and found the card for the captain at Osgood PD that Roland said would try to help if I needed anything. Captain Thornwood, he answered after I called his direct number. Hi, it's Angelica Dale. I received your name from Detective Christopher Roland, Fillmore PD. He said you may be able to help with the Aspen Club case. Oh, yes, yes, I remember, he paused. Just so you know, my offer of help is limited. None of the detectives that work the case are around, and the files we had available I've already given to Detective Roland. Yes, I understood that from my conversation with Roland. I was actually wondering if you had a discreet forensic accountant I can call. A forensic accountant? Are you taking a different direction with the case? He asked, a little surprised. Maybe. I keep thinking there is something, but I can't put my finger on it. I noticed the club was experiencing some financial difficulties and thought it was important to follow up on the evidence. I could see that. Isn't the number one reason for arson financial gain? That is what I'm thinking, second only to trying to conceal criminal activity. I sighed. Well, it's another direction. I'll text you a name and number and let me know if you need anything else. Thanks, Captain. I disconnected and after receiving the number called and made an appointment with Terry Flack, CFE, for first thing in the morning. I returned the financial documents to the file. If I wanted to prove the fire was the result of arson for financial gain, I realized Derek had to have a partner.